Hello, thank you for joining. I want to just show you what has been done this month in November on the Creative Classical Guitarist. We had a composition challenge called Melovember, where members were challenged to compose a short melody every day of the month based on prompts like major, insects, mountains, and other prompts. So there was a prompt for each day of the month. So, as a result of this, hundreds of melodies were composed because just from one person completing the challenge, we'd get 30 prompts, 30 melodies done. And, I think at least three or four people completed the prompts. So we get, 3, 6, 9, 9, 12. So over 100 prompts. And then there are some people who completed a significant number as well. So hundreds of prompts, hundreds of melodies that have been created, and they're very, very creative and imaginative. I'm really impressed. I mean, if you're given the task to write a melody that's somehow based on insects or chocolate or mountains, it really stretches your imagination, and it probably encourages you to write in ways that you would maybe not normally think of composing. So let's take a look at some of the prompts here. So here are a range of complete and incomplete Melovembers. Not everyone was able to finish every single prompt, which is understandable because composing a melody every day for a month is a pretty intense task. But let's just go through and see some of the work here. So we've got major here. This is the work of Kevin. We've got contrast, and he's given some notes to indicate what he was thinking. Slow, staccato, ascending versus flowing semiquavers and quavers, mostly descending. So we get this kind of and then flowing. So some beautiful work there. We get Baroque. So how do you make something sound Baroque? Kevin has used repeating scale segments based motives sequenced. Repeating scale based motives. It's a long sentence. Sequenced. So he's sequenced like little repeating scale motives. So we get some beautiful writing there. Maybe, excuse me, maybe we'll look at one more, mountains. So this is very, very imaginative here. Toblerone breaks like no other, based on the advertising strapline for a mountain-shaped chocolate bar. So some of you might be familiar with the chocolate Toblerone, which is in the shape of a triangle, and apparently that was inspired by I think a Swiss mountain, the shape of a mountain. And the advertisement for this chocolate, Toblerone breaks like no other. Kevin has used those words as inspiration for the melody. So Toblerone breaks Toblerone breaks like no other. I'll do that one more time. Beautiful work. So those are just three of, we've got clock, three of quite a number here that Kevin completed. Romantic, simple, birdsong, very imaginative. Look at the birdsong one. So let's have a look at some other Melovembers. So we've got Julie's Melovembers here. I think Julie has completed all, if not most of them. So we have we have the same prompts, right? So just have a look at this simple funk, clock, bird song, compound, major, and so on. So let's try one of these. Feather. Look at this one, feather. So Julie has used campanella, just where you play notes across different strings. It means bells. And a floating effect in the texture combined with campanella to create the sense of a feather. That could be done. Beautiful writing. The next one we get moody. So we go from joyous to sad. Joyous in major, sad goes to the parallel minor, E minor. So beautiful contrast there. The next one is chocolate. Chocolate, passage of time. Chocolate, passage of time, oral transcription. I can't remember what this is based on here, but it's, I think, based on something, maybe the movie. I think it's maybe based on a movie called Chocolate. So maybe I'll go to one that's like this one. Well, this is a good one here. Popcorn. Hot butter. 1972. That might be another movie, a movie quote, but I can kind of see the popcorn effect right away. The staccato, pizzicato. Let's have a listen to this. Tricky to sight read. Tricky rhythms there at the end. Very, very clever. I like how the popcorn's popping at a regular rate at the start, and then towards the end we get a bit more of the irregular poppings of the popcorn there at the end. So there are a few from Julie. You can see just the diverse range of work, just like Kevin. Julie is also done. This is with everyone's work. It's a very, very diverse range of ideas because the prompts sort of lead you to do that. Okay, so there's Julie's. These are prompts, Melovember prompts from Aaron. Look at these ones. I mean, these look like, a lot of these look like full pieces, pretty much. A lot of work's gone into these. Look at that. Insects, elemental, fire, all the diversity of ideas that we're seeing. Incredible. Let's try clock. It's not one we've heard yet. Clock. So, in short, I find the sound of a ticking clock maddening. Alright, so here, this is tricky. You gotta. Alright, and my nose has just started to leak a little bit, so just bear with me for a sec as I fix that up. Okay, so some brilliant writing there. We get that very unusual melody. Combined with this kind of incessantly, repeating palm muted accompaniment. Brilliant. Let's try simple. Andantino, simple. So we're seeing very repetitive rhythms here, simple melody and simple accompaniment. Beautiful, beautiful melody. Sometimes simple is just right, Fantastic. Let's try romance. Looks a little high, but I'll give it a go. So, let's hear romance. And that's gorgeous. That first chord. Wow. Beautiful. All right, so there are a few from Aaron, and you can see again just the diversity of ideas here. And some of these individual prompts are quite long, so I'd say he's done a very, very substantial amount of work, even though maybe not done all 30 of the prompts. So fantastic work. Let's look at a few by David Reynolds. So we studied some of these already during one of our workshops. This one is very fascinating. Insects. So we get this kind of which you could do unmuted. interesting writing. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So we're getting, modes and scales and sounds that, if we weren't prompted with insects, it, we might not be stretched, our imagination might not be stretched to try and come up with these types of sounds. That's what we're trying to do on CCG constantly. So bird song is a beautiful one. Let me give this one a go. So bird song. What would you write for a bird song prompt? Beautiful. You could probably play that in a variety of ways, maybe with slurs. Almost like trills, right? Which birds like to do. Beautiful. Maybe we'll look at one more. Let's look at David's feather. Gorgeous, very ethereal, almost like a feather that's, floating up in the sky. Gorgeous work from David. Again, not all prompts completed, but I mean, the diversity of ideas is tremendous in this collection as well. Fantastic. Let's look at a few from Rick Alexander. Let's try modal. So Rick has chosen Lydian. Gorgeous. I mean, that's pretty much a full piece. Very, very clever writing in that it is mostly a single line, although Rick has managed to imply multiple voices, which we sometimes call compound melody. So it's a gorgeous, very, very evocative for a sort of more technical prompt to write something modal. It's got a very strong evocative character to it. we get folk. So it raises the question, how do you even write something that is folky? What does that mean? How do you make something sound like that? It's a challenge that you have to come up with, even if you just write 4 bars. How do you write 4 bars of something that sounds folky? So let's see what Rick's done. Beautiful. So we get sort of a simplicity about the melodic structure, repetitive motives, repetitive rhythms. The harmonic structure is implied, but the harmonic structure is also, mostly going around 1, 4, 5, or with 2s and 4s in there. So really nice. If we did put chords to it. That's what it would sound like. So we'll go to the end. Beautiful writing there. Let's try one more. So let's do cool. So thinking of an icicle melting, each note is one drip. So we get natural harmonics. This is, by the way, a very good sight reading exercise when you've got hundreds of little melodies all doing different things. So let me do that again. Beautiful work from Rick. Let's go on, and again showing a wide diversity of ideas too. Let's have a look at Eli's. Now I know Eli has completed all of the prompts, all 30. So you see number 1, number 2. If I scroll down, how many pages do we have? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pages. The last page being a finale, and check that finale out. That looks pretty good, pretty full on. Agitated, number 29. So we get a bit of a special effect there in the intro and the outro. So let's give it a go. So we're going to do something like if I interpreted that correctly with the percussion, but hopefully it gives you an idea. Very agitated. This is what I would love seeing too, is that not only across different ideas, across different prompts do you see a diversity of ideas, but even within one prompt, you'll often see a range of different ideas happening. So, we get this percussive effect, and then we get this beautiful sort of arpeggiated section, and then back to the arpeggiated. So that combination, that juxtaposition of the two ideas just enhances, just brings out different, because like agitated can have many, all of these prompts can have so many different angles to it. So you can bring out different angles of agitated even within one prompt. I'm going to skip the ones that have lots of sharps that are harder to read. Let me try and find one that's not too... This one was quite a fun one. Number 21, popcorn. So we get this kind of, just like popcorn does, it sort of pops slowly, gets a bit faster again, and then we get these kind of few little stragglers at the end. So we get something like... Just brilliant writing there. To do that with the constraint of just a melody, absolutely brilliant writing. And let's look at one more. How about chocolate? What would you write for chocolate? So this is what Eli's done. F sharp minor tastes very chocolatey. For the ultimate chocolate goodiness, harmonize the whole passage with sixths. Why don't I try that? That's beautiful. Very velvety. So there we go. Eli's mission was to write in the complete 30 prompts to include one of each of every major and minor key. So I believe Eli has done that. C major, G major, D major, A major, going around the circle, all the majors and all the minors. 12 major keys, 12 minor keys. It's 24. So, absolutely brilliant work from Eli. Here is David's Melovember. So, I really want to look at mountains again. So this was an idea that I think a few people did, where they took an image of a mountain and wrote music that sort of traced or followed the contour of the mountain. And David's done this to quite a high level here, not just with one contour, but with several contours. So we get the hill there in the middle, that's that one. And then we get this one, this kind of low hill, and David's written a bass line for that. Now, I don't think David even necessarily knew what this would sound like. He was just kind of using that contour and seeing what would happen. I think the result is quite phenomenal. So here we go. Let me try it again. sometimes you don't know where beautiful music can come from. And this, again, this idea of stretching your imagination, writing music in a way that you would not normally, and coming up with sounds that you would maybe never ever find unless you were to stretch yourself and try writing this in this way. So this next one, let's try clock. This was also a really fascinating one. Clock. So I think David here is sort of thinking about his day job. Maybe it's kind of the clock is a monotony about the day, monotony about time. Let's see, and I think that's represented mostly with the bass line. Very interesting. We get the bass line. It's almost like polytonality, where the bass line's in one key and the top line's sort of in another. Very, very interesting. Let's try bird song. A cacophony of kookaburras. A native Australian bird. Yep, sounds like kookaburras to me. Just a nice rising chromatic line with tremolo, and then the clack, 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 cack, 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 cacks at the end. Pont and loud. Yeah. Just like kookaburras like to do. They kind of sound like they're laughing, if you've never heard a kookaburra before. And he's provided a link to a kookaburra sound. Let's try one more. Let's do the modal one. Lydian. F major where B flat becomes B. Beautiful. So once again, a wide, diverse range of ideas. And I believe David completed all of the prompts. Okay, the last, but certainly not the least, and actually not the last one. There are more Melovembers on CCG. So let's see. These are Trisha's, and Trisha is responsible for this composing madness, this composing challenge. So thank you to Trisha for proposing this idea, and for Trisha and Eli, who came up with the prompts. So in a way, it's very much like a member-run challenge, and I've really enjoyed seeing the result and what's happened from this. All right, let's go to, maybe we can go to some of the more. This one looks interesting. Insects. And then a splat. So an annoying mosquito buzzing around relentlessly until you finally silence it. There we go. Let's try elemental. So this is a really interesting. Trisha thought of the shape of the earth, the element earth. The earth is circular, so Trisha went around the whole circle of fifths, starting from C and ending on C. Writing a melody that traverses all of the keys is not easy to do. So, especially when you don't have harmony to support it. Let's have a listen. Beautiful. So that I think shows you the sort of stretching of the imagination that can be required, and I think that's very, very interesting music. That again, um, I don't think I don't think that we would on an ordinary day sort of think to ourselves, I'm going to write a melody that traverses the whole circle of fifths and see what happens. We can get stuck in our ways a little bit, and doing a challenge like this really helps us to break out of that and try new things, getting new sounds, using new different scales, all sorts of things. Let's try feather. Beautiful. Let me try that again. I'm noticing I think I could play it more feathery. Play slowly, soft and light. Use high positions with lots of vibrato and rubato. Gorgeous. And since this is the last one, you can see again all of these beautiful examples. This is the last collection of Melovember that I'll look at. This is finale, the last prompt for Melovember. A bright and cheerful march. So there we go. We've seen hundreds of melodies. We've heard about 3 from each person there. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. So about 24, 25 that we heard just now out of many more. It's a brilliant exercise, a brilliant challenge. We'll be doing a similar challenge on CCG on the Creative Classical Guitarist in January. So thank you for joining, thank you for watching, and you can join the Creative Classical Guitarist with a 14-day free trial. We have plenty happening. There are composition challenges virtually every month. We've got a different project you can take part in. We've got a foundations course where you can learn the essentials of composition and music theory and make it applicable and relevant and fun for the guitar. So you can join at any time for 14 days free. You just have to go on CCG, creativeclassicalguitarist.com/join, and just put in your name, email, create a password, and you're ready to go. You're in, and you can check out all of the resources that we have available. You can meet the community. It's a wonderful community of guitarists from around the world who are composing, creating constantly, and it's very supportive. We have open mics, we have master classes, tons of resources. But I think the most important thing, the biggest distinction, because there are some great, other online resources. You might be thinking, why should I join this one? Well, in this one, you're not just going to watch videos and improve some aspects of your playing. You're going to learn how to compose and arrange and improvise, and there'll be actually things made from that process. Completed compositions. So a composition that is complete that you can play, you'll gain skills in arranging and improvising, and your pieces will be recorded and published. So that's one difference. That's probably the biggest difference. And the other difference is that CCG has a structured program. So through the course of a year, you learn the foundations of composition and music theory, and then following that, we keep structuring the years where you have various projects that focus on different elements of creativity. So there's a structure to the whole calendar, to the whole yearly schedule. It's not just cherry picking around, although you could do that if you wanted to, but I think having a structured pathway to follow usually is the better way. So thank you very much for watching, and see you around.